Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Nano antakarnasya sukadukkhadhyashrayatve tasyeva kartrutvena bhuktatvena cha chetanatvam abhiveyam तथा च तद्व्यतिरिक्ते तद्भासके भोक्तरि मानाभावात् नाममात्रे विवादः स्यात् तदभ्युगमे च बन्धमोक्षयोः वैयधिकरण्यापत्तिः अंतःकरणस्य सुखदुःखाद्याश्रयत्वेन बद्धत्वात् आत्मश्च तद्व्यतिरिक्तश्च मुक्तत्वादिति आशंकाम् अर्जुनस्य अपनेतुम् आह भगवान्. So now Bhagavan foresees this kind of a conflict or doubt in the mind of Arjuna. So he wants to remove that doubt. To remove that doubt, Bhagavan is saying this yam hi, etc. But first, what is the doubt? That is explained here. Antakaranasya sukhadukkhaadi ashrayatve. If the mind is the substratum for, the place for, the locus for sukha dukkha, etc. Understand this? If the mind is the locus for sukha dukkha, etc., then tasya kartatvena bhoktatvena cha chetanatva abhivayam. Then you should have to accept that mind to be the doer and experiencer. If the mind is the antakarana, the inner sense organ is the doer and experiencer, then you have to accept it to be consciousness, to be sentient. Tathacha, if that is so, then tadvitriktam tadbhasake bhoktari manabhavat. There is no other experiencer or illuminer, that which illumines that mind. There is no proof for that. To establish that there is something else which is illumining the mind or which is the experiencer. To establish it, there is no proof. Bana bhavat. Now matre vadasyat. This whole discussion is useless. It's pointless. Now matre means it's just pointless. Therefore, tadabhyume cha bandha mokshayoho vayyadhikaranyapati. But still, if you say no, there is something which illumines all this, that is the self, and if you start like that, then if you still persist on accepting another self which illumines this mind, then the bandha and moksha will be in two different planes. Vayyadhikaranya, samanadhikaranya means in the same plane. The bondage and the liberation both in the same plane. Vayyadhikaranya, because samanadhikaranya you are going to hear again and again from here. So samanadhikaranya means the bondage is in the same plane and the liberation also is expected in the same plane. Now here Vayyadhikaranya he says Vayyadhikaranya means in different planes. The bondage takes place in one plane and the liberation takes place in another plane. How? I don't understand. For that he says Antakaranasya sukhadukkhaadi ashrayatveena baddhatvat. The mind being the locus for happiness, sorrow, etc., all those experiences. Therefore it becomes bound. And Atmanascha tadvitriktasya muktatvat. Atma has no association with any of those sukha dukkha, etc. Therefore it is liberated. So the bound one is what is bound? Mind. And what gets liberated is self. So that is why the bondage and liberation is in different planes, in different places. If you still persist on accepting the self to illumine the mind, etc., then this will be the situation. Iti, in this kind of, when this kind of doubt arises in mind of Arjuna, Bhagavan to negate it says yam hi navyathayantyete purusham purusharashabha sama dukkha sukham dhiram so mrtatvaya kalpate. Yam hi navyathayantyete purusham. He purusharashabha sama dukkha sukham dhiram somrtatvaya kalpate. Yam hi na vyathayanti ete. One who is not troubled by any of this. Vyathayanti. Vyatha means problem, trouble. One who is not troubled by Vyatyanti means it's not troubling him. So, one, that self which is not troubled by all these. All these are sorrow, happiness, etc. That Purusham, Yam Purusham na Vyatyanti, that Purusha which is not troubled by any of these. He Purusha Vrishabha, one who is the greatest among men. Listen to this. Samadukha Sukham Dhiram. A person, that Dhira, that one who is not just valor, one who has valor, but he is an intelligent person. That intelligent person, one who is able to see the Sukha and Dukha as Sama, same. Sama, Sukha, Dukham. That is why he says, Samattam Yoga Uchyate. Later, Bhagavan himself will say, Samattam Yoga Uchyate. That equanimity is called as yoga. One who sees the sorrow and happiness as not different. He does not differentiate it. It does not differentiate. It does not superimpose it on himself. Dhiram. So amrtatvaya kalpate. That person, he is eligible to be liberated. Yam. Swaprakashatvena swata eva prasiddham. Yam means swaprakashatvena, being effulgent. Swata eva prasiddham. That is self-evident. Swata eva prasiddham means it's famous by itself. No, not like that. Which is self-evident. Because it is a self-effulgent, it is self-evident. That which is self-evident, self-effulgent need not expect any other proof. Like you have in a dark room there is a pot. That pot is not self-effulgent. Therefore, you have to use another evidence, another light. But if there is a light in that room, if there is a lamp which is lit in that room, you don't need any other light to see whether the lamp is burning or not. It is self-evident because it is self-effulgent. Similarly, this self-effulgent self, which is self-evident, Atraya, how do you know this? Atrayam Purusha Swayam Jyotir Bhavati iti Shutehe. The Shruti very clearly says, this self is self-effulgent. Purusham Purnatvena Purishayanam. Purusham. Who is this Purusha? Purusha, one who is existing, one who exists in all the Puri. Puri means all the bodies. Navadvara Pure Dehi. Like that he will explain later. So, one who exists is associated as though with all the embodiments. Purnatvena. And one who is absolute. That Puri, that Purusha, Sa Ayam Purusha, Sarvasu Purushu Purishayo Na Etena Kinchana Vratam Na Etena Kinchana Asamvratam Iti Shruti. Shruti itself says that Purusha, one who is existing in all the Purushu. Purushu means in all the bodies. Na Etena Kinchana Anavratam. Nothing is there is nothing in this world which is not covered by this. Na etena kinchit asamvratam. There is nothing in this world which is engulfed by this. Everything is engulfed or covered by this. There is nothing which engulfs this or covers this. Like that also you can see. Iti Shruti. This Shruti very clearly says, Samadukha Sukham. Samadukha Sukham means Same Dukha Sukhe Anatma Dharmataya Bhasyataya cha Yasya Nirvikarasya Swayam Jyotishaha tam. One who is attributeless and one who is transformationless, that self-effulgent, that Purusha, for whom this Sukha Dukha are equal. How does he see it as equal? Because he is the one who illuminates them. Their existence is based on this self, the effulgence of the self, and he sees it as a non-self, not as his own Swarupa. Therefore, that self for which all this creation is only non-self. And the self which illumines the whole of the creation, for that Purusha, which is a self-effulgent and transformationless, for that Purusha, Samadukha Grahanam Ashesha Antakarana Parinama Upalakshanartham. See, he is not only seeing the equanimity with sorrow and happiness, we have to bring in all the duality and trinity. All the other attributes of mind also should be included here. That Purusha, all that other attributes means the Sukha, Dukkha, Raga, Dvesha, Hri, Dhir, Dhir, Ityachar, Manadeva, that whole thing should be brought in here. Shraddha, Shraddha, Hri, Dhir, Dhiri, Ityachar, Manadeva, all that should be brought in here. Yesha Nitya. How do you know this, sir? What? Samadukha Grahanam is Ashesha Antakarana Parinama Palakshanatham, whatever the transformation of mind, all that it includes. How do you know this? Yesha Nityo Mahimavara Manasyana Karmana Vardhate Nakaniya Ityadi Iti Shutya Bruddhi Kaniyasta Rupayoho Sukadakhiyo Pratisheda. Because the self cannot have any of these transformation. How do you know this? It is said very clearly in the Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Yesha Nityo Mahima Brahmanasya. This Brahmana, the one who knows the self or of this self, this is the nature. It is eternal. For this eternal self, this is the greatness. What is the greatness? Na karmana vardhate. This one, this knower of self, he does not grow. The self does not grow, because knower of self is verily the self. Brahma with Brahma Bhavati. The knower of self is verily self. That self does not grow through karmas. Nor does it reduce through karmas. Na kaniya. It does not grow or decrease through karmas. Sukha dukkhayoho pratisheda. Therefore, the sukha dukkha etc., growth and decrease of sukha dukkha etc. are negated in that self. Dhiram. Dhiram means Dhiyam ireti prereti iti vitpatya. Dhiyam ireti means prereti, that which prods, that which guides, that which controls the mind. That self, Chidabhasa Dwara. Meaning, who is that? Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa means Chidabhasa, Chaitanyabhasa. Chaitanyabhasa means the shadow of the self. The reflection of the self. The reflection of the self is that which reflected self is reflection of self. Reflected self. See, there are three. When you say Jiva, you say the Abhasa Bada, we say the substratum which is the Antakarana, and this reflection of the Chaitanya in that Antakarana which is Chidabhasa, and the external Kutastha, which is the self itself. So, this group of this three is called as the mind, the reflected consciousness in mind, and the consciousness. These three are called as Jiva. Now, that Chidabhasa, that reflected consciousness, what does it do? Dhi tadatmya adhyasena. Because of having identify itself with the thought functions of the intellect mind, Dhi prerakatvam. It is the guide, it's the one, it is the one which guides prods the intellect. The thought function, in every thought function, this is that which is shining. Therefore, Dhi Sakshinam. Meaning, it is the witness of all the thought functions, all the transformations. Sadhi Swapna Bhutva Imam Lokam Adikramati iti Shrutehe. How do you know this? That intellect transforming itself into dream, then it crosses over this world. In dream, you don't stay in this world. That's a new world which the mind creates. Rathan, Ratha Yogan, Achajata, like that, the Shruti itself, Kata Shruti itself very clearly says it creates the chariot and the horse which is tied to the chariot, the road, etc. Everything. Yetena Bandha Prasaktir Darshita. Through this, how the bondage, the possibility of existence of bondage is clearly established. This is what is said. Yato manani siddhyanti jagradaditrayam mitva bhava bhava vibhagascha sat brahmasmi iti bodhyate. Yataha manani siddhyanti jagradaditrayam tatha bhava bhava vibhagascha sa brahmasmi iti bodhyate. Yataha, because of which manani siddhyanti, all the pramanas, pramana, pramata, prameya vyavahara gets established. Not just that Jagradadi Trayam Tatha, the waking, dream and deep sleep too. Pramana Prameya Pramata means the knower, knowledge and the object of knowledge. These three, under the waking, dream and deep sleep state, these three, under Bhava Bhavagascha, the existence and the absence. This duality, this difference. All these difference, the difference of duality and trinity in general, all that sa brahmasmi iti bodhyate, all that which is established yataha, by which that Brahman I am. In this way he understands. Ete sukadukkhara mata sprashahi yasmat na vyatyanti paramarthatha na vikurvanti. Ete, this self, what? Sukhadukkha matra sparashaha hi. All these sukhadukkha, that which gives sukha and dukkha, that matra sparashahi, through the sense organs, all that yasmat na vyathayanti, because of which this purusha, ete purusham na vyathayanti, this purusha, it does not trouble. This purusha, sukhadukkha, does not trouble. Who? The knower of self. How can that be? How? Why not? Because Rama was disturbed when he was, when Sita was taken away from him. He started crying, Sita, 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 etc. And Krishna was a troubled man when he was, when people were abusing him, saying that he stole that Shamantakamani. He was disturbed man. Now, if you say, for that he says, Paramarthaha na vikurvanti, does not disturb him in reality. All that is just a play. That what you see in reality, there can be nothing. It's all a projection of your mind, not them. In them, there is no transmission, because there is no existence other than self there. Therefore, sarva vikara bhasakatvena vikara ayogyatva, because that self is that which is the illuminer of all the transformation. Therefore it cannot undergo transformation. Whatever illumines the transformation cannot undergo transformation. If the illuminer too becomes transformation, then there can be no illumination. That is why he says Suryo yatha sarva lokasya. This is an example. Suryo yatha sarva lokasya chakshurna lipyate vichakshai vahya doshaihi ekastatha sarva bhutantaratmana lipyate sarloka dukkhena vahya. Surya yatha sarva lokasya chakshuhu na lipyate chakshaihi vahya doshaihi ekaha tatha sarva bhutantaratma tatha ekaha sarva bhutantaratma na lipyate loka dukkhena vahya. So he says Surya yatha, like sun, like the sun. Sarvalokasya chakshu, which is the illuminer of, which is the eye of all the world, means which is the illuminer of everything, every world. Na lipyate chakshaihi bhashya doshaihi. It is not affected by any of the defects of eyes or the objects of the sense organ eye. See, the sun does not decide. Okay, this fellow, he has a very bright power eyesight, 6/6. So let me not give him that much light, or let me add more light to him, so that he will be able to see a clear vision. And this fellow, he is already blind. What is the point of illuminating things to him? So let me stop illuminating things to him. Or there is Ganges and there is a gutter, there is a sewage water. Now the sun does not say, no, this Ganges, it's pure, so it's a pure, it's a form of purity, so let me illuminate more. This sewage, no, that's dirty, I will not. Or the reverse. Since Ganges is pure, even if somebody falls in Ganges or touches Ganges, he is going to remove his impurity. So there is no harm in it. But this sewage water, if somebody is going to fall, therefore I will illuminate more. No. It neither gets affected or afflicted by these kind of things, like the sun or the eyesight. So, like that, this self, tatha, ekaha sarvabhutantaratma, this one non-dual self, which is the indweller in every being, na lipyate loka dukkhena bhakya, is not affected by the sorrows and happiness of the world, all the duality and trinities of the world. अतः स पुरुषः स्वस्वरूपभूत ब्रह्मात्मैक्य ज्ञानेन सर्वदुःख उपादान तदज्ञान निवृत्ति उपलक्षिताय निखिल द्वैत अनुपरक्त स्वप्रकाश परमानंद स्वरूपाय अमृतत्वाय मोक्षाय कल्पते योग्य भवति इत्यर्थः. अतः therefore what happens? Sa Purusha, that person, that self, individual self, Swaswarupa Bhuta Brahmatmaikya Jnanina, through the knowledge of non-duality or identity between the individual self and the absolute self, Sarva Dukkha Upadana Tadajnana Nivrutti Upalakshitaya, that which is implied through the negation of the ignorance, that which is implied through the negation of ignorance, which is the material cause for all this duality and trinity. Now see this. I see the duality and trinity. What is the material cause of the duality and trinity? The material cause of duality and trinity is ignorance. So, see, let us see an example. There is a pot. The pot is made of clay, which is its material cause, and it's made by a potter, who is an instrumental cause. Okay. Now, if I am going to destroy the potter, the pot is not going to be destroyed. Whereas if I am going to destroy the clay, the material cause, then the pot is as well destroyed. Therefore, when I am going to destroy the ignorance which is the material cause for all the duality and trinity, that which is implied by that, the removal of ignorance, what is implied by the removal of ignorance? Nikhila Dvaita Anuparakta, that which is not associated with any of the duality, and Anuparakta, Swaprakasha, that which is self-effulgent, Paramananda, that which is absolute bliss, Surupaya, for that form, for that state, for that being, which is Amritatvaya. For that, Amritatvaya means immortality, means Mokshaya, for that liberation, Kalpate Yogya Bhavati. He becomes eligible, capable. Who? The one who has gained the identity of individual self and absolute self through the teacher's words. He. यदि ही आत्मा स्वाभाविक बंधाश्रयः स्यात् तदा स्वाभाविक धर्माणां धर्म निवृत्तिमन्तरेण अनिवृत्तेः न गतापि मुच्येत. But you are crybaby. You are always asking, no, how can this be? Now you said, okay, it is the bondages of the mind and the liberation is of the self. And when you said bondage is of the mind, you said because bondage, the mind has all these attributes of Sukha Dukkha, etc. Okay, let me, for discussion's sake, accept that. Let us see. Is the attributes which are talking about of the mind, the duality and trinity, is it its natural inherent state, or is it something which is superimposed? Let us take the inherent state. If it is the inherent nature of the mind to have the sorrow, etc., then whatever is inherent to whichever, that cannot be destroyed. Those attributes cannot be destroyed without destroying the substratum. Like I have pot, and pot has the inherent nature of having potness. Okay, that is its inherent nature. Now, I cannot destroy the potness without destroying the pot. Once I destroy the potness is as well destroyed. Therefore, if you say the Sukha Dukkha etc. are inherent nature of mind, I can never separate this Sukha Dukkha etc. and destroy it without destroying the mind. I have to destroy the mind. Dharmi, that is what he says. Dharmi nivritti mantrena anivrittehe. Without destroying the dharmi, the substratum, the locus, swabhavika dharmanam anivrittehe, the natural inherent attribute, inherent nature, inherent qualities, attributes cannot be destroyed. Kadapi namuchyate. Therefore, one cannot be liberated at any point of time. Because you want to stick to the mind without the attributes. Whereas it cannot be done. Without destroying the mind, you cannot destroy the attributes alone. Therefore, how do you know? This is said by great people. Atma kartradi rupasched mankankshi starhi muktatam nahi subhavo bhavana vyavarteta ushniyavat dravehe iti. It is said nahi atma kartradi rupasched. If atma is of the nature of, inherent nature of doer, etc., ma kankshi tarhi muktatam, don't even dream of becoming liberated. Nahi swabhavo bhavanam dhyavarteta, the inherent nature of the objects never gets negated. Like what? Aushnevat ravehe. Aushnevat ravehe, not ravehe. Aushnevat ravehe, like the heat of the sun. The heat of the sun cannot be stopped without destroying the sun. The heat of the fire cannot be destroyed without destroying the fire. Once the fire or the sun is destroyed, the heat also automatically gets destroyed. Pragabhava asaha vrittehe yugapat sarva vishesha guna nivrittehe dharmi nivritti nantrikatva darshanat. Pragabhava asaha vrittehe, that which cannot stand the prior absence. That which cannot stand the prior absence means whatever does not have prior absence. See, if it has prior absence, that means it is created, it is produced, and whatever is produced is not eternal. Yadyat kritakam taddad anityam. That is the simple logic. This self, which is which cannot stand the idea of prior absence, means the self which does not have prior absence, means the self which is not an effect, means the self which is causeless, means the self which is eternal. Understand? It cannot stand prior absence means it has absence of prior absence. It has absence of prior absence means it is not an effect. If it is not an effect means it does not have a cause. If it does not have a cause means it is eternal. By saying pragabhava asaha vrittehe, he wants to refer that it is eternal. Now, yugapat sarva vishesha guna nivrittehe. For that, yugapat, at the same time, if you want to remove all the attributes, that is impossible without dharmi nivritti nantarikataya. Nantarikataya, without negating, nivritti, dharma nivritte, without negating, without destroying the dharmi, the locus, the base, it is impossible. Therefore, atha atmani bandho na swabhavikah kintu buddhyadi upadikatha. Therefore, you have to say, no, it is not his inherent nature, it is only because of the embodiment. Upadhi means upa samipe swa dharman adadita. Iti upadhi, that which superimposes its attributes on something else is called as upadhi, embodiment, urgent. Now here he says swabhavika na swabhavika. This bondage etc. is not inherent nature of the self. It is not inherent nature of the mind. It is a superimposed nature of the mind. Then he is talking about mind because he is opponent. Then Atmendriya Manoyuktam Bhokta Ityahu Manishana iti Shute. We have to say only that because we say accept this because Vedanta says Atma Indriya Manoyuktam. Atma, the self, sense organs and mind. This whole group is accepted to be Bhokta. This is accepted by the learned men. Now, Tathacha, when this is so, Dharmi Sadbhave api tan nivritya muktirapattiriti chet. Even though there is existence of Dharmi, by negation of that, when this is so, my opponent says, when this is so, though the Dharmi exists, by negation of that bondage, that with Tanvritya means that bondage, by negation of that bondage, though the mind exists, I will just negate the bondage because the bondage is just a embodiment. It is just superimposed. Therefore, I will negate the bondage. Therefore, mind is not destroyed, mind stays as it is a iti chet mukti apatti, then I will be liberated. Because there is no attributes of mind, because it's not the inherent nature of mind, it is only superimposed. I just remove the superimposed. Therefore, there is no trouble in becoming liberated. If you say Khanta Tarhi, then you are dead. Very good. Why? Tarhi Yaswadharmam Anninishtadaya Bhasiyati Sa Upadhiriti Abhyagamat. Since you are accepting whatever it is nature that is superimposed on something, that is what is upadhi. Since you are accepting upadhi to be something which superimposes its own nature on something else, therefore abhyagamat buddhyadi rupopadhi swadharmatmanishtadaya bhasati iti ayatam. Then what you conclude is how this turns out to be is the buddhi etc., the intellect etc., mind etc., the embodiments are superimposing its own nature on the self. Therefore, the mind etc. are embodiments of the self. That is how you have to conclude. So what? This is the problem. Tathacha ayatam marge bandasya asatyatva abhyamata. Then finally you have come to our path. You have started accepting the bondage to be non-real. Nahi, how do you say this? I'll explain. Nahi, spatika mano jaba kusuma upadhana nimitto lohitama satya. Because there is crystal. In that crystal you have a red, close to that crystal you have a red flower, hibiscus rosa sinuses or a rose flower or a red cloth. Now that redness is superimposed on the crystal, which does not have any of the redness, nor does it get affected by the redness of the cloth. Like there are some cheats who sell this precious stone which is taken from a king cobra's crown. They say this is taken from king cobra's crown. They will sell it. Now this, how did you take it? Did you kill it? No. Before it copulates with its consort or another snake, it keeps it aside. It removes this light. Now what we do is we just throw a cow dung paste on that and cover that. See, cow dung suppresses the light. Otherwise, if you carry it, the snake will find you because the light is so strong. So what they do is they throw cow dung and they take this and wash it and keep it in a box which is light tight, not airtight, light tight, let us say. They sell it to these gullible people who want to buy these kind of strange things. You keep this, you will become rich. He is already rich because otherwise how will he buy something for exorbitant price? But still greed has no limits. So this fellow, what they'll do is they'll ask him to close all the door. They have this small box which in their hand and they'll open it on a velvet floor. There is this stone. On opening the box, 1, 2, 3, open, it shines in red color. If you want blue color, let us say, but it shines in red color. That's that stone is red stone. Close it, no light. Open it immediately, red. Close it, no light. So this gullible buyer, he buys it for that exorbitant price, whatever he charges, and he takes it home. Upon reaching home, when he opens it, he sees a small crystal placed on a velvet cloth. Removing the crystal, he sees a LED lamp below that. There is a LED lamp which is connected to a circuit. When a small battery below that small box, there is a circuit with small battery which is covered with this velvet cloth. Upon opening this box, there is a charge. It's a switch. There is a charge and the light illumines. And because of the effulgence of that LED lamp, this crystal becomes very shiny. That is what these fools buy. Now, that LED light superimpose its quality of redness on this crystal. Similarly, here he says, Sarva samsara dharma nahi spatikamano java kusuma upadhana nimitto lohitama satya. That redness of the LED light which is seen on this crystal is not real. It cannot be accepted to be true. Similarly, the redness of the cloth which is superimposed on the crystal is not accepted to be true. The redness of the hibiscus rosa sinensis flower on the crystal cannot be accepted to be true. Therefore, अतः सर्व संसार धर्म असंसर्गिनो अपि आत्मा उपाधिवशात् तत्संसर्गित्व प्रतिभासो बन्धः. Therefore, what is bondage? We have to define bondage. Bondage is the self, though is not associated with any of these attributes of the mind, etc., as though is affected by those attributes. The superimposition of those attributes on the self is bondage. Upadhivasha, because of the embodiment, tat samsargitva pratibhasaha, as though it is associated with those attributes. That is bondage. Swarupa jnani, swaswarupa jnani natu swarupa ajnana tatkarya buddhyadi upadhi nivritya. But when he gains the knowledge, that was said in the previous page. Swaswarupa bhuta brahmatma jnanina brahmatmaikya jnanina sarudukha upadana tadajnana nivritti upalakshitaya. That is what is said here also. Swaswarupa jnanina, by the knowledge of self. How one gains the knowledge of self? By the identity, knowledge of identity of individual self and the absolute self. By that, Swarupa Ajnana Karya Buddhyadi Upadhi Nivritya. The Swarupa, the ignorance which is seen in the self and its attributes of intellect, etc., mind, etc., those are negated. Those are embodiments. Those embodiments are negated. By negation of that, tan nimitta nikhila brahma nivrittau. Negation of that ignorance negates the whole creation. Because the whole creation is a projection of this ignorance mind. Therefore, nivrittau nirmrishta nikhila bhasya uparagataya. Nirmrishta nikhila bhasya uparagataya. Shuddhasya nirmrishta nikhila bhasya uparagataya. See, whatever is illumined, the whole creation is completely destroyed, negated, annihilated. Therefore, Shuddhasya Swaprakasha Paramanandastaya Purnasya Atmanaha Swata Eva Kaivalya Moksha iti. Now, that pure self, which was never associated with any of the ignorance or its attributes, in its own self-effulgent state, as absolute bliss, as absolute, that self, Swata Eva, staying without anything else as duality, as non-dual self, in itself, the self staying is a kaivalya, moksha is the liberation. iti. Therefore, bandha moksha vayyadikaranya na vayyadikaranya apatti. There is no confusion. There is no two. The bondage and the liberation does not exist in two different places. The bondage is because of the superimposition of the erroneous idea, the ignorance on itself. Ignorance, the liberation is a removal of that erroneous knowledge, ignorance. Identifying with ignorance is bondage. De-identifying with ignorance is a liberation. Therefore, it is not in two different places. It's all in the self. That is why now Matrivadit Yapastam, you said it's only for namesake you are doing whole discussion. There is no point in this discussion. This useless talk. That you said that is negated. Bhasya Bhasakatvayo Ekatvanuvatte, because the effulgent, the that which illumines and the illuminated, illuminer and the illuminated can never be one and the same. Dukhi swa vyatirikta bhasyah bhasyatvad ghatavat iti anumanat bhasyasya bhasakatva adarashnat. We can show this, we can establish this through an inference that this illuminer is not the illuminated. How? Dukhi, that one which is in sorrow, state of sorrow, sorrowful, that self. That self means that individual self who finds himself to be sorrowful. So, Vyatirikta Bhasya, that state of being in sorrow is illumined by something other than that mind, other than that self. Bhasya, because it is illumined. Ghatavat, like pot, etc. is illumined by something else which is an illuminer. Similarly, the state of being sorrow, etc. is illumined by something which is the mind, which is other than the mind, which is experiencing the sorrow, etc. Therefore, it is established the illuminer and the illumined are different. Otherwise, ekasya bhasyatve bhasakatve cha kartakarma virodhat. If you accept the one and the same self to be illuminer and the illumined, or if you accept one and the same mind to be the illuminer and the illumined, then there is a confusion, there is a confrontation of a self, that mind itself becoming a subject and object. This is a contradiction of subject object. Kartru karma virodha we say. Contradiction of same thing being the subject and object, which is not acceptable. So, we'll see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.